First of all, I think it's very significant. I was here a couple of years ago just speaking to a handful of people and trying to impress upon them that wildlife is actually of some importance. I'm thrilled to see that the subject has become very much more talked about, and it's indicated by the number of people here and how passionate everybody is. And I have respect for everyone's views. I was brought up as a scientist, and I'm fascinated with the whole scientific discussion. If it wasn't such an imminent tragedy in so many ways, it would be a fascinating study, and it is a fascinating study. My own point of view actually goes a little outside that, though. As a scientist, I absolutely don't feel that culling is going to work. But even if I did think it was going to work, as a human being, I would be against it. The reason is, and this hasn't really been brought up, I believe that human beings are on a journey towards realizing that they are not the only important species on this planet. And it might seem a little radical to say that, but in times of ancient Greece, everybody was convinced that the Earth was the centre of the universe. There is still a lingering feeling, it's called anthropocentrism. There is this lingering feeling that the only important species on this planet, or in the universe, is human beings. I don't believe that to be the case. I believe that every creature in this country and in this world has a right to a decent life and a decent death. And we've been talking about badgers as a vector and as a reservoir, and wondering whether we should be killing them or not to sustain an industry. The industry is feeding human beings. And I don't believe that that is morally acceptable. If you're going to talk about science, I think you have to be in one camp or the other. If you buy this whole business of badgers wandering around and coughing and giving a disease to cows, you have to bear certain things in mind. First of all, the disease came from cows in the first place. Badgers have been in this country a lot longer than us, a lot longer than our cows. They did not have bovine TB. It's called bovine TB. It is not badger TB. If you buy this whole scenario, and there are very plausible reasons for not believing that badgers are the only means that this disease is spread. I mean, unfortunately, this idea has been promulgated a little bit by the NFU, and I say this with respect to you, Jan, and I know you're a decent human being, and we've had many discussions, but I think that the NFU is giving the impression that badgers are the whole cause of this thing. This cannot be true. There's been an outbreak recently in Cumbria. Now, unless badgers can get on buses, there is no way that badgers could have caused that spread of disease. There is no doubt that there is disease in both populations, in cows and in badgers. But I say, if you buy this whole idea of badgers being a significant vector, a significant reservoir, you have to look very carefully at what's going on and things to which a blind eye has been turned. First of all, badger baiting. Badger baiting is an appallingly cruel occupation, a kind of sport in which badgers are dug out, dragged out, in some cases nailed to trees, and dogs are set on them, their legs are broken. It's an appallingly despicable occupation. But also, if you believe in this idea of perturbation, this has got to be spread in bovine TB. We're also hearing, on the TV no less, that certain farmers are taking matters into their own hands. And even though it's illegal to kill badgers, if they feel like they are threatened, they will kill the badgers on their own property. They're actually boasting about it on TV. In the RBCT, I think Chris will support me, reactive culling was shown to be so detrimental that they had to stop it halfway through the experiment. The worst thing you can possibly do if you're culling is to cull randomly in small bits, because logically they're going to get wounded, whatever, they're going to start spreading, the family group is disrupted, and badgers go everywhere. If they are diseased, they are carrying the disease. So I would like to publicly challenge the NFU to condemn these two practices. One, badger baiting, which must be spreading bovine TB, and two, the illegal, random, small-scale culling of farmers, because this has to be detrimental too. And if the NFU wants us to believe that they are serious about doing everything they can to stop the spread of this disease, they have to condemn these two activities.
We do.
It's
quite simple, we do. No, I just said we do.
You do?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Is that official?
Yeah, it's perfectly official. Of course we do. I mean, badger baiting is a loathsome occupation of sport. It's disgusting.
It is loathsome.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. And we know from all our understanding that individual illegal trapping of badgers, killing of badgers is useless. It's pointless.
But it's worse than useless, isn't it?
Absolutely. Because the very point that it actually multiplies the disease in a local area.
But I don't see this in the farming press. I don't see a condemnation of people who've taken the law into their own hands.
Yeah, going on what you just said, Brian. Being an ex-cop, earlier on that I'd have meetings with 25 police officers from the local county and surrounding counties. Anyone, if you have any information about anybody, landowners, farmers, anyone, baiting badgers, blocking badger sets, illegally killing badgers in any way, just give me a ring if you haven't got my number. British Telecom Pakistan will give you my number. I will liaise with, I've got good liaison now with the wildlife police officers in the county and surrounding counties. Thank you.
Last question, if I may. This question is about the...
Can you hold on? Maybe I can just wind up. Yeah. May I just say a couple of words about the science? I think Chris has underlined the fact that science has been misused, and I think that's a tragedy too. And I think science has also been misunderstood. I think there is also a certain amount of willingness to pervert the perception of science. We have to be very clear here. There is a difference between scientific evidence and scientific theories. Scientific theories, people can make models, I can make a model, you can make a model. It's a theory, and we can predict from these theories. But these are actually, what we should be calling them is guesswork. They're inspired guesswork in some cases. The only hard evidence that we have is the RBCT, because it's the only scientific experiment that's been done on badgers in which there are control groups. And nobody's saying that the RBCT is perfect, and I would agree with that, but it is the only hard evidence we have. To start extrapolating and say, oh, well, we can get more by doing things in a different way, make it bigger, it may be true, but it may not be true. And I do not believe that science is being used in the proper way. I believe we should only be basing our decisions on evidence and not on theories. That's where I would stop.